Welcome back to the Girls Power Network podcast. Today's new guest is Jenny, and she's a holistic nutritionist. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi. First of all, I want to pick your brain. I want to ask you where you're from.
I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, California.
An LA native. Mm-hmm. That's kind of rare. I feel like everyone's always like, I came here from here and here, and now I'm in LA. Yeah. So what is it like growing up and living in LA?
I feel like it sounds much more interesting than it actually is. Okay. I feel like I had a very regular lifestyle growing up. You're exposed to a lot more at a young age living in LA. I still had a great group of friends, good support system.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said you're a holistic nutritionist. How is that different from a regular nutritionist?
A holistic nutritionist essentially treats you as a whole person. So your cells create your organs, create your organ systems and your tissues. We're all interconnected in one. Mm-hmm. And so basically holistic nutrition is taking you as that. My specialty as a holistic nutritionist is the gut. So the digestive system, the gut-brain axis is like very important.
Okay.
And most of my clients, what I work with them is the digestive health.
Okay. So for someone, if like you have cramping or like any type of stomach pain, is it really coming from what you're eating, or is it like how you're living your daily life, like stress and anxiety, or is it all food related?
It's a little bit of both. And it's actually funny that you say that because gut-related symptoms don't show up as indigestion or like bloating at first. It shows up as like, I'm tired, I have brain fog. You wake up in the middle of the night for like no reason.
Yes.
Yeah, and go pee maybe. There's like a bunch of different little things that happen and show up before you actually have the gut symptoms.
Oh, okay. And what's the right way to treat your gut in the situation?
Well, each person is bio-individual.
Right.
I can't really give everyone on this podcast like a one-size-fits-all. For a fact, we all have gut health issues. Right. Just like in our
comes and goes,
everyday life, we're exposed to so many toxins in our environment. And just like, what used to take like an hour and a half for our great-grandmas to make this like delicious dinner now comes in a box that you have to put in the microwave for 100 minutes. A minute and 30 seconds.
It's burning.
A minute and 30 seconds. And it's just, ready. And it has half the nutrients, but tastes just as good.
Right.
So some general advice I'd give to people who are trying to heal their gut is eat at home more often. Cook your own food.
And are like certain like oils bad, or like what home product or kitchen products or ingredients would you say like maybe keep an eye out or replace this with that,
Well, that's a hard one. I feel like you can find, especially living in LA, a healthy alternative to literally anything.
Yes.
Literally anything. So I guess it just depends on what your flavor, what your taste is, and slowly make the transition to add healthier instead of eliminating the bad. Just keep adding new and healthy things.
Right.
That's what I would.
So why did you want to become a holistic nutritionist? Well, what sparked the spark for you, What happened?
Well, I'll preface by saying I feel like every experience you have brings you to where you are today. The people you meet, the things that you go through. So I can explain that I was a very active child, super connected to my body, very athletic.
Yeah.
And in my senior year of high school, I was diagnosed with a general autoimmune disorder.
Oh my God.
And I felt that the medical system was extremely circular and like just inconclusive, and it didn't feel right. Even as a kid, it just didn't feel right to go on medication.
Yeah.
And
they
didn't
you don't
really
want to be on medication if you don't have to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and have to like rely on it too.
Yeah. And so I just continued my education and my life without it. And I have a background in research and psychology. So I found a common thread of like nutrition and the mind-body connection and how inflammation works. And I was certified by the Institute for Integrative Nutrition and essentially healed all my symptoms on my own, which I thought
that's amazing. Yeah. Holy shit. Wow, that's really cool.
Which I thought was really awesome. Like, I still go to the doctor and check up on myself and do the blood work and whatnot, but for the most part, my symptoms are totally gone. And I continued my education and just followed this career. And I love what I do. And I think it's my mission or like passion in this world to share that with other people.
Definitely. Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, what is your main goal with this? Like, are you trying to, like, is it more like you go to people's homes and you help them, like, you know, eat right by like looking into their fridge, or like how far do you take it, you know?
Well, each client is different.
Yeah.
Like, each person needs something different.
Right.
So someone who has been on a really health forward journey for most of their life might not need me to come and clean out their pantry.
Right.
But they'll need me to maybe recommend different ways of getting protein that's not with meat.
How do you live your daily life? Like, you know, when it comes to, I guess, like a routine, like, is there something specific that you're doing that you feel like this is helping to like my healthy lifestyle that like I want to share with other people?
Yeah. I feel like I do a lot of things. Like, everyone has a lot of things that they check off on their list every morning.
But what's actually working?
What's actually working?
Yeah.
Waking up and giving gratitude. I think that was like the most life-changing thing for me. When you wake up and you have like those bad thoughts, I feel like it sets the tone for just like not the best day.
Yeah.
Or I used to get up and like scroll on my phone while I was in school.
Guilty.
And you just, I feel like all day I'm like doom scrolling.
Yeah.
So something that I've put into my practice is waking up. The first hour of my day, I'm technology-less. Don't look at my phone.
Nice.
Yeah, I try to go outside. I basically take care of myself the first hour of the day.
Like, it's like you're taking care of yourself like mentally first before you even put anything in your body. Nice. Okay. And what would be like the first thing you do put in your body? Like, what's a good breakfast? I know everyone's different. Like, not everyone's gonna want the same breakfast either. But like, I guess like the key, like a couple key like foods that are like, you know, you should have this in your daily like plate, I guess. If that's the right word.
Okay, I'm gonna make this funny. What's the first thing that you put in your mouth in the morning?
I'm like, just kidding.
What's the first thing that you eat in the morning?
What's the first thing I eat
or
in the morning?
do in the morning?
Right. Well, I wake up, brush my teeth. Honestly, I am guilty of having a cup of coffee.
Water. Water is the most important thing to start
See,
your day with.
I already failed.
No, because most people it is. They wake up, they're like, okay,
You're probably dehydrated. Really... You haven't drank in like 8 hours. You're sleeping.
Yeah, so actually, overnight, your cortisol levels rise because you're fasting. And then when you wake up, it's like coffee kind of like... It dehydrates you and continues the cortisol cycle. You want to eat, and you want water. You want to nourish your body from the start of the day.
How much water do I need to be drinking?
It's individual. I need to know what else you're doing. I need to know how much you're moving your body. I need to know so many things about you.
You can ask away. I'm an open book. But I do feel guilty because I feel like I don't drink enough water. Just because, I mean, like, for example, if I want energy, I'm like, I want caffeine. I want coffee, which I don't. I drink like maybe one a day, 2 absolute max. I don't really drink more than 2. When I was working on set, it got bad. I was drinking 5 coffees a day because I was working 16 hours.
There's also a culture around coffee, I feel like, with work.
Exactly. It was like a place to like go, like, let's go grab a coffee in between break. Like, it was like a thing to do too, and like get away from work. But also it was an unhealthy addiction because now it was just like, I want it, you know, like I just want that extra energy, even though I didn't really always need it. And then also it's like all this sugar that's in these like Starbucks drinks. And, you know, every time you go, if you're going like 5 to 6 times a day, it's going to add up. It was an expensive addiction to have. But then when I stopped working on sets because of the strike, I was like, okay, like 1 coffee, homemade. But even then, I still feel like I'm not hydrating myself enough. I'm not getting necessarily all the nutrients that I need. So sometimes I'm like, what are like some key like breakfast or lunch items that I should have in my house that I know will give me the proper nutrients? That's kind of what I struggle with.
So in your case, what I would do is focus a little bit less on the things that you know you shouldn't do, like drinking the 5 coffees. Yeah. Even though you don't do that now. Yeah. And focus on what can I add that will make me feel better. So more water in the morning. You know that will make you feel good because you probably had a day where you drank a lot of water and you're like, wow, I'm cool. Like, you know, this is great. Yeah. Eating whole foods, I think that's really important. So something that you know that it grows, like that you can imagine growing. Right. And there's a lot of foods that we eat that I can't imagine growing. Right. But
true. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't think of it that way. I was like, wait a minute. All the things I put in my body that haven't been like they're probably grown in a lab somewhere or something. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. What is your view on like plant-based and stuff like that? Like, are you getting the nutrients that you need when you eat that kind of stuff?
I would prefer a plant-centric diet. So something that revolves around eating lots of plants. But I think as humans,
Mm-hmm.
we're all different, how
Mm-hmm.
much we need and how much we work out and how much we
Right.
whatever. Like I said before, it's all bio-individual.
Right.
So plant-centric is how I would approach it.
That's what I heard too. It was like, oh, the stuff like this like plant-based alternative, like it's not always that healthy. And I was like, damn, so like what do we eat? Like I feel then it's like, oh, like things with MSG is really bad, or like high sodium or salt, like or too much oil, like can make you break out, or like if you're not drinking enough water, you're dehydrated, and you're like all these like things, and I like keep seeing it. I'm like, oh my god, like what does one eat to actually be healthy?
Yeah, and that's also why I feel like this is my purpose in life, because I feel like it doesn't need to be that complicated. We love to complicate things as humans, and make labels and trends, and like I do it better, and you do it better. But in reality, you know what's best for your body.
Right.
And no one needs to tell you really like what will make you feel good. It's just up to you to like test that out and see, well, what's my energy like if I have coffee first thing in the morning and then don't eat until 1 p.m. What do I have a headache? Do I feel energized to get my work done?
Right.
If I wake up and I have an oatmeal with fruits and lots of water and then have a coffee after that, what's my energy like then?
Right.
So I think it's just gauging and dependent on what your body needs and how it feels nourished, how it shows up feeling in its best.
Right.
I always tell this to my clients.
Yeah.
Your body wants to heal itself if given the right conditions, if given the right environments.
I like that.
Everything in your insides is, we have this incredible, like, magical chemistry, biology going on in our bodies.
I know, yeah.
Like, there's so many different things that I can explain to you that are happening right now without you being conscious of them.
Oh my god.
Like,
okay, tell me like one thing.
Well, you're basically the first interface, or not the first, there's like a few, your skin, your lungs, an interface between the outside world and your inner well-being is your stomach. You're putting in the outside world, and your body is meant to filter through it, give all its nutrients to the cells into the right spot so that your cells are energized to do all its functions. Yeah. And you don't have to tell your stomach anything.
Yeah, that's true. God, she's so independent.
She's an independent girl.
She's got this. What do you think about like vitamins and stuff like that? Like, are you recommending to your clients like you should be taking like vitamins on a daily basis, or is it really only if like someone lacks that specific nutrient? And it's like, how would you know if you're even lacking that? Like, how can you gauge that? Because I feel like sometimes I don't know that like I'm low on stuff unless I go to the doctor and get like my blood drawn or something. And like, how often are you really getting your blood drawn? Like maybe once a year, or once every 6 months or something? Yeah.
So it's case by case, but supplements are supplementary to a healthy diet. So whenever I start with my clients, I take the first week or two to try to understand what they're eating, how they're moving, what their lifestyle is like, what their goals are, and then go from there. You can usually tell when there's a deficiency based on like I want to explain to you how kind of this works.
Please
if
do.
You're always on the computer and always on your phone, and in this fast-paced society, like always trying to hustle and make yourself better, and you don't take a second out of your day to take care of your temple, how can your temple work for you? Like do the things that it needs to do to give you the energy to function and be creative and do this amazing stuff that you do every day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm just like in overdrive, like go.
Yeah. And sometimes it's okay to like slow down. Well, do you know a little bit about the mind-body connection, how all this stuff
I would love to know more. I'm like, feed it to me. Like, tell me.
Yeah, well, basically you have neural networks in your stomach. Yeah. And so food definitely is correlated to your mood. If you're eating like high vibrational food, something that was alive and has color, like, can I say God? I don't know.
Yes, of course. Yes.
So God literally painted what we should be eating in bright colors. And he said, and this is like basically pointing out to us that these are the type of foods that nourish your body. Your body will recognize this. Carbohydrates, lipids, proteins.
Yeah. How do you feel about organic food? Like, is it like, are you telling your clients like you should eat organic, or is it like only with meats or only with vegetables? Like, how do you, when you're at a grocery store, like how do you decide when to go organic?
So a resource that I give to all my clients is environmental working group, they have a list called the Dirty Dozen, and it'll show you in your area which produce is clean, like without pesticides.
No way.
And which you can find, and you have to buy organic. Or, well, you don't have to, but you should.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And the only reason I think that you should is that a lot of the things that our produce is being sprayed with, we just end up consuming. Like, I don't think people wash their produce enough. You learn so much about how food is made and processed and even transported like hundreds of miles to get to us. So like it loses a lot of its nutritional value. We're lucky enough to live in California. We have lots of farms near us. We have access to a lot of organic produce compared to other areas of the world.
For people who wouldn't maybe know like what organic really means or like the difference between it, could you explain that?
So there's a few certification processes to be an organic farm. There's like different versions of what that means. There's regenerative farming, but there's different modalities to get to an organic farm. Basically what that means is they don't spray their produce with pesticides.
Okay, so it's common to usually like spray it just to get the bugs off, right? And then like when they're picking it, they're not washing it, right? They're just throwing it in like the little basket or whatever it is, and then you buy it from the store, and if you're not washing it, you're eating all that.
And sometimes I'll even go the extra mile and say they're putting it in a plastic package for you. Like Trader Joe's, you know, everything comes in like a plastic bag, and then it's being transferred on the truck for whoever knows how long.
Right.
And then maybe from that truck onto a boat that goes somewhere else.
Right. You don't know.
You don't really
all the
know.
Phases
yeah, all the
going
phases.
through.
And then from the store, off the truck into the store, all the people touching it. So, yes, very important to wash your produce. If you learned one thing from this podcast, wash your produce.
I love it. Tell me more about like the meats and stuff. Like I know like red meat sometimes, doesn't that cause like high cholesterol and stuff like that? Like why does it do, and what does that even mean?
I think that we love to eat the things that we love, that taste good.
Yeah.
And so
I'm a sucker for like a steak. I'm not gonna lie. A medium rare steak. I'm like guilty.
And like definitely eat what feeds your soul. I think we just overdo it sometimes. Like you don't need to be eating red meat 7 days a week.
No.
So just I think like if you, depending on your body and your movement, like I said, just maybe once a day or once a week or twice a week, whatever works for your body.
Is that more of like a healthier amount, like more once, like would 3 times be too much, or is it really? Okay.
No, it really, I'm not super restrictive. I eat mostly plants, but I'm from a big Jewish family. We love eating fish, chicken, meat.
Yeah.
My husband's a huge meat eater, so I cannot get away with not cooking meat. Yeah, so
you're like, it's there.
Yeah, so if it's there, I might have a bite.
Right. What's your view on fast food? As a nutrition, are you just like, oh, hell no, like, so all bad?
It's not even as a nutritionist. It's more so that my body can't handle it. Really. Like, I get ill. Like, I don't feel good after I eat.
It's so true. Like, I took a break from, like, fast food, and then, like, the other day, I was like, it was, like, a desperate situation where I was like, I'm so hungry, I need to go to McDonald's, like, right now and just buy something. And I just felt so, like, sluggish after, and I was like, I was like, is it because of the heat or is it the food? But I think it was a combination of both, just, like, all the oil and like just not really getting the proper like nutrients and vitamins that I really needed in that time.
I used to be a big fast food girl.
Really? Yeah. I mean, I think everyone goes through that, especially when you're younger too, and you're like in college. I mean, In-N-Out is still right there, like literally behind the house. Like it's too close. It's like 2 minutes from here. It's dangerous. I'm like some cheese fries. I'm like, oh no.
And this is a good In-N-Out too. I know which one it is.
Toxic. No, they get me, but I mean it's those bright colors. Like I think it's literally like meant to make you hungry. I think McDonald's chose like yellow and red because it's supposed to.
Yeah, it's the color psychology trying to get you to.
Yeah, what is up with that? Is that a real thing?
Yeah.
What else about color psychology? Like I don't know anything about that.
About anything. Like we have the psychology of marketing, how to like appeal to the different types of archetypes of human beings. Like everything is marketing these days, literally.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, so you know how there's I don't know if I'm gonna pronounce it right, but Erewhon? Is that how you say it? The supermarket? Erewhon. Yeah. I'm like, here I go. What are your views on that type of grocery store? Like, do you feel like you're really getting everything that you need there, or like, because you know it's definitely overpriced. It's more expensive than the average grocery store. I would say it's like that, then like maybe Whole Foods and like maybe Ralph's or something like that. Like, do you really feel like Whole Foods or Erewhon has that quality food that like you can't get at Ralph's?
I feel like Erewhon and Whole Foods have good marketing. And I think that you can get good whole foods from any market. And I take it a step further and say that if you can do, you work with a farmer. So you sign up to get a box from a farmer.
What?
Yeah, and you get connected with them. You are introduced to the farm. You can even go visit if you'd like. And they send you produce.
What do they send? Oh, produce from the farm.
Yeah, and you tell them how often you want it. Oh, community supported agriculture. That's what it's called.
It's a long name, but cool. Wait, is this like an app or like?
It's a website. You put in your address. It shows you the closest farms next to you.
Wait, that's awesome. That's actually really cool.
And it's cost effective. Like it's not expensive.
Right.
And I think it's really cool. You get to meet a farmer. I love meeting farmers.
Fun fact: when I grew up in Austria, I grew up right next to a farm, and the farmer would mow our lawn with his tractor because it was our house was like right there, his farm was right there, so he's like, I'll cut your grass. It was really nice of him.
And you never see that these days.
No, I know.
It's so cool.
So like I'm like, wow, I did grow up with like that farm lifestyle, so I do know about like organic and having that fresh, like, farm to table experience, but it's a lot hard to get that in California versus like when you're living more in the countryside, but it's still, you can still get it. But also things are more expensive sometimes when they're organic or coming straight from a farm and stuff like that. So it's interesting how they like price gauge it.
So with the CSA programs, you like basically can make the box of like whatever you want, nuts and meats and vegetables.
Oh wow!
Literally anything.
I didn't realize like when grocery stores are trying to like buy produce, they're like selective of how it looks. Never thought about that. What is the term for it? But you know how like they, I guess, growth hormones like for like chickens and stuff like is that still very common like in present day that we're dealing with this?
Yeah. Hormones and antibiotics.
How bad is that? Like if like versus not like eating a chicken that has hormones versus not. Like,
it's bad enough to affect female hormones in humans.
Really? Shit. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Everything ties in.
Yeah.
What would you say is
you are what you eat.
Oh, so true. So true. I'm like
so
suddenly changes her whole diet.
Yeah.
I'm like, the pizza. I'm just kidding. What would you say is the hardest part about your job?
I think people think that I must be a perfect eater because I'm a holistic nutritionist.
Think that, honestly. I was like, she eats everything.
Yeah. Like they get afraid to like offer me food because they're like, oh my God, don't.
Like she would never want In-N-Out.
Yeah, like don't look at my fridge. Don't look at anything. But I live like a very 80-20 lifestyle. Like I love In-N-Out still. Okay. I just don't go every day.
Right. And everything at moderation, I feel like, right? Like if you overdo anything, it's like, all right, calm down. Like even excessive, like, I think drinking water, like, is not that good for you either, right? Like, if you overdo it.
Yeah, if you overdo anything.
Okay, so that's a fun struggle, actually. We're like, people don't offer me all the food.
Yeah, no, really. They think I'm, like, too, like, I'm going to judge their cooking style. And it's like, no, you made a food. Like, I want to try it.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't matter what oil you use. Like, it's okay.
Speaking of oil, olive oil versus avocado oil or vegetable oil, like what are your views on oil? Because we use it all the time to cook.
I love olive oil.
I use olive oil all the time. So is that like maybe healthier, or is there even a healthy oil? Is that even a thing?
You don't want hydrogenated oils. Yes. Okay. So if you just look, or cut oils, so oils that are mixed with other oils. A lot of time you'll pick up like a vegetable oil and it'll be mixed with soybean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you
don't need that.
Yeah, you don't need that.
Okay.
Or not vegetable oil, canola oil, and it'll be mixed with soybean.
Oh, okay. You know how, like, there's things on labels, like, I don't always read all my labels, but I've heard a lot of people like, have you been reading your labels? Like, do you check your labels? And they're like, it says this word on it, and it's, like, some crazy word that I've, like, never seen before. And they're like, it's a chemical, it's unhealthy. What, I guess, like, if I'm ever looking at a label, what specific chemical should I look out for where you're like, definitely do not buy that?
I like to tell my clients, don't like look for names that you can't read, but look for minimal ingredients. So like if you pick up one product that has a bunch of things that you can't read, or you pick up another one that's just 5 ingredients and maybe 1 or 2 you can't read, I would take the one that has the less ingredients because there's less bad stuff in it.
Right. That makes sense. Okay. Cool.
So more like the length of the label and not so much the words.
And how much sugar would you say is like a healthy amount per day? Because I feel like you get sugars in everything, like in your drinks, your like your juices, your soda, like if you put in your coffee, or like in foods and sauces. Like, what's like a moderate amount where you're like, okay, that's healthy. Anything more than that, you're overdoing it.
I think that if it's natural sugars,
so like brown sugar.
Well, like natural sugars from fruits.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Like if you're eating your sugars, I don't think there's like a cap where I can say like this is an unhealthy amount, because each person metabolizes differently.
True.
Has different deficiencies. Each person is different. I would just like answer that question based on how you feel. Like, when do you feel like it's too much sugar for you?
Right.
Because like, do you ever, like, I know if you've ever been to the movie theater and you're like eating the
popcorn
soda. and soda and candy,
Ooh,
like by like literally the end of the previews, I'm like, okay, I need a nap. Like,
no, seriously,
I'm not okay.
No, it's so true.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of that. Sometimes, here and there, you're gonna break the like healthy like food routine and maybe like have something that's not great. Even with like alcohol too, like people could see that as like, don't drink alcohol, it's really, really bad for you, right? But if you have a drink like once a week, does that really affect you, or can you do that?
I think you can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, don't like, if you're having 10 drinks in one night, I think that's like excessive.
That's a little.
And that's, you're once a week.
Yeah. Right. What would you say is the best part about your job?
So many fulfilling. This job is like so fulfilling because you get to see people change their relationships with food. And for a lot of people, especially women, we have like very damaged relationships with body image and how we see the way we eat, basically. And we like to control or not control at all. I'm very grateful that most of the people that I've worked with have seen great transformation, and that fills my heart up with so much joy. Being able to see people mend their relationships with food, feel better in their bodies, have the confidence to not do something that they used to do all the time. Like, if you're an avid soda drinker, it feels so good when you can say, I haven't drank a soda in like 2 weeks. Like, just to even say that, I feel like is a huge accomplishment for so many people. Right.
Some people might not even think like that's a big deal, but it is. Like, your body will feel a lot better, and not like there's so much sugar in a soda. Like, I can't even imagine drinking a soda every day. Honestly. You know how like there's like, what is it, like 1,500 calories a day or something you're supposed to intake? Is that still like the right amount? And if you eat more than that like every day, is that bad? Or like, do we really need to be worried about calories?
I think you should be worried more about the quality of your calories than the quantity that you're eating.
Okay.
So if you're eating a plant-centric diet and you're filling yourself up with the good proteins and nutrients, I don't think it really matters how many carbs you eat. I mean, how many calories you eat. Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it, because I feel like nowadays, and actually this has probably been around all along, but women are like worried about, oh my god, like how many calories is that? Like, oh, like too much bread or too much carbs, and like yada yada yada, whatever it is.
Well, it's the thing, like my mom was like that, and we used to have all the like 100-calorie snacks.
Do you remember
those bags? Like the bag of like 100-calorie Oreos or 100-calorie Cheez-Its. And those are great and they're low calorie, but are they great?
That's what I'm wondering. Are they great?
Could I just have an apple or something live that would give me, it's not a super high calorie count, but it'll give me the essential nutrients and vitamins that I need to grow throughout my day with energy. Right. So quality, I think that's very important to highlight, is the quality of your food is much more important than the quantity.
Would you say small portions versus big portions as well? Because we're so used to big portions here. Like when you go like to Europe or like literally anywhere else in the world, you're not getting these like massive plates of food. Are we just overdoing it because it's like everything needs to be big here? Or is it okay to be eating that heavy of food?
Well, there's different type of people. If you're someone who needs more food to get full, then you're a volume eater, and that's all good. Yeah. I'm a volume eater. Yeah. So I like seeing a full plate. Yeah. If I don't see a full plate, my brain is telling me that I didn't eat. Right. Like, it's the weirdest thing. Right. some people can eat just a few bites and they're like so full and exhausted that they can't continue. Every person is different. I say that, yes, in America we have like big plates and huge meals, but to kind of categorize it, like what am I eating the most of? Is that the vegetables? Is that the protein? Is that the carbs?
I'm literally gonna like rethink it. Like every time I eat, I'm like, what am I eating?
Yeah.
How much of it am I eating?
That's the thing. You don't even need to control it. Just kind of like
Just be
focus. Like to be
conscious about it.
Yeah, conscious of it.
Conscious.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. That's really cool.
Yeah. Mindful eating. We talked a little bit about it before.
Yeah. Sometimes stress and anxiety can have, a factor on your body, and like how does that factor in? Like, how would you say it affects you?
When you're in a stress response, your body is focused on that stressor. So you can't really rest and digest your food.
I love how like all the things be like rest and digest. I'm like, this needs to be on a shirt.
Yeah,
like.
No, literally your parasympathetic nervous system is all about rest and digest. And you can't have a rest response when you're in a stress response. So you feel like you're stressed and you're about to eat, take a deep breath. Don't stress eat. Take a deep breath. It'll change everything for you. Just one breath, 2 breaths even. It'll change the way you digest your food.
How do you do you deal with any like kids as well and like their nutrition?
I haven't worked with many kids, but I have worked with mothers. And I think that the biggest help is having your kids in the kitchen with you and kind of teaching them, getting them curious about what foods are, how they're grown, how to prepare them, what are herbs, what are spices. I think in this day and age, a lot of times we wanna distract our kids while we're cooking so that we can get it done really quickly to go do the next thing. And for some people that really works, that schedule. But if you include your kids and you can slow down and show them the different foods, it changes the way their eating habits will be set up for the rest of their life.
Right. Because I feel like in school sometimes you're not getting all those like nutrients, like a spicy chicken sandwich or like a freaking pizza with hella cheese on it. Like it was just
the breakfast coffee cake.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, they're definitely not getting the nutrients at school, so I guess it's really important to get it at home. And if someone doesn't know how to like, get that all on a plate, where's the kid getting it? So it's really cool to have like this insight and like have this like awareness too, because life is so fast paced, especially here in LA. So it's nice to like have that like here, like slow down a little bit and like just appreciate what you're putting in your body.
Yeah, my mom is actually a kindergarten teacher.
No way.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so her and I were actually working on doing a workshop about how to make lunchboxes for your kids.
Make a TikTok. Yeah. That's actually interesting because I see people like, I was on TikTok and it was like, pack my kids' lunchbox. Yeah, and I was like, why TikTok. Am I invested? Yeah. I'm like, I want to see what the fuck she's packing because that's awesome.
And it's like the cutest little bento box of all these like so different things. Such a balanced lunch.
I know, such a balance. I'm like, Mom of the Year. Like, that's awesome.
I still have my Lunchables.
I used to love Lunchables. I'm like, I'll still get a Lunchable, honestly. Like when I want like a light snack, I'm like, I'm still a kid at heart.
Yeah. We need to make a healthy version of Lunchables.
Exactly. If there's anything you could share about nutrition that you're like, people need to know this, that like is something that kind of gets like overshadowed or people don't really think about, like what would that be?
Wow, I need to think about this. I feel like I'll be driving in my car and just think like the world needs to know about this. Like I need
tell me.
I need to call someone. I need to tell them this. And I feel like this happens to me every day. So I don't know what I want to share is the most important on this podcast.
Or one important thing. It doesn't have to be the most important. Maybe something that you learn and you're like, wow, like people don't hear, like, that people don't really hear this. Because, I mean, honestly, a lot of the things that you said, I'm like, it makes sense, but I never really thought of it that way. Because when you're not, like, thinking about your food or, like, taking courses or, like, having someone educate you on it, you're just kind of like, whatever, I'm just hungry.
Okay, so I think that something really important is that let's say that I'll use an analogy, that you're a plant and your soil is your stomach. So you want to give the soil as many nutrients and vitamins that it could possibly have to grow the most beautiful, vibrant flower or plant that you could possibly be. And you don't want to just paint your leaves. You don't want to just paint your symptoms if you're having headaches or if you're feeling not motivated or anxious, mood disorders, anything. If you're feeling that anything is off in your life, I highly recommend like looking inward because almost always there's ways for you to take it. Your body wants to heal itself. You just got to give it the right conditions.
I love that. Honestly, that was key. It was a great line. I'm like, that when you said that, I was like, changes everything.
Yeah, it does. Everything is working in your favor. Your body really wants to. You get a cut, your body.
It heals immediately. It's doing its thing. Yeah. Just and internally, it's gonna do the same thing. I love that. My last question would be, how do you like being a part of the Girls Power Network?
I love being a part of GPN. I think its mission is just awesome. And being a woman in business is pretty difficult.
It is.
Having connections and new people to talk to about all the things that you're going through is just super powerful. I think that having a support system is also part of being a healthy person.
You're right.
And having someone to talk to when you're happy, when you want to celebrate, and when you're down and you need some mentoring and assistance.
Yeah.
And I feel like GPN really offers all of that. And I feel very lucky and blessed to be part of this community and to be here with you
I know. And thank you for coming and podcasting. It was really nice to get insight and like learn all this stuff that like I feel like they should teach in school, honestly. Like I'm like, these are like key everyday things that like are just getting overshadowed. So it's like really nice that like you were able to like bring some insight and like actually like break it down, because I was like, oh, it makes a lot of sense. And now I kind of feel like I want to be more aware and present with like what I'm eating and what I'm actually putting in, and maybe I should look at the label here and there, you know. I do buy organic here and there, but not everything, because I mean it adds up a little bit too. It gets pricey. So
yeah, for sure. But check out that
yes,
the box.
I'm gonna check it out. That's sounds awesome. And I'm like, I want to see what farm is nearby.
Yeah, supporting your community.
Support your community and your local farmer. Exactly. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It was so great talking to you.
Thanks for having me.
And I will see you guys next week. Bye.